Hello there. We British are a strange bunch. In all the various things we do, things must be done in a certain way. And we have this preoccupation with time, which is why everybody seems to think that the British are always on time for everything. And I guess that is true. And some of these typical traits are probably ones that I had when I first arrived in Mexico. But after a while, you adapt to this new life, and many of those traits disappear. Interesting how many of those have disappeared from my normal way of doing things. In general, the British, well, actually the English, I should say here now that I'm not actually English despite my accent. I'm 100% Scottish due to my parents. But anyway, the British/English generally won't adapt to another culture, yet they expect that immigrants coming into the country should adapt to British/English life. The Americans always say that if it wasn't for them winning the Second World War for us, then the British would now be speaking German. Obviously, these Yanks don't understand the British and the way that they acquire language. The Second World War ended back in 1945. It's now 2025. So, after 80 years, the British would probably now only have a mild smattering of the German language. Wherever the British settle, the idea of acquiring a language is generally not in the priorities. I can say I'm a little guilty of this, as my Spanish should be much better than it is after all the time that I've spent here. But hey-ho, that's part of my nature, I guess. I once gave a presentation at the Mextisol conference. This is an organization about the Mexican teachers of English as a second language. And at this conference, I gave a presentation called Adaptation, looking at the adaptation of a British person into Mexican life. Of course, I did this because I just love giving presentations. Not because I like doing it, because I inadvertently seem to say, yes, I'll do it for you. I really should be a little more forthright and say no, but that's kind of not in my nature, really. So yes, I gave a presentation about adaptation and how you should adapt to language, etc. I feel as though I've adapted to Mexican life, its culture, and I've accepted that I'm no longer in Leicester, to mildly paraphrase Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. So when you are coming to Mexico, adapt. Be like Basil in Zoba the Greek, and dance with Anthony Quinn's character, as I showed at the end of the presentation that I gave to Mextisol. Thank you for listening to another ramble of mine. Bye for now. See you soon.